You had two offers. You were 24 years old. You had $1,800 in a checking account, $31,000 in student loans, and a second-hand desk chair you'd carried up 3 flights of stairs because buying a new one felt irresponsible. You had two offers, and you had 5 days to decide. The first was certain. $58,000 a year. Benefits on day 1. A manager named Gerald who seemed fair if quiet. A desk with a window on the 4th floor of a building that smelled like carpet cleaner and institutional coffee. The role was called Associate Analyst. It was not glamorous. It was also not nothing. You could see the next 10 years from where you were standing. You could see Gerald's job. You could see Gerald's manager's job. The path was visible, and the path was walkable, and the path went somewhere real. The second offer didn't feel like an offer. It felt like a question. A startup, 8 people, a product that might work and might not. The title was meaningless. The salary was $44,000. There was equity, a percentage so small it required scientific notation, that the founder said could be worth something if everything went right. Your mother asked what the benefits were. You said you'd get back to her. You did not have an answer for 4 days. On the 5th morning, you accepted the first one. You told yourself it was the smart decision. You told yourself it was temporary. You told yourself you could always leave in 2 years once you had some stability. The browser tab stayed open in the back of your mind behind everything else for 11 years. This is what happens next. Both of you. Path A, the safe one. Age 24. Your first day, Gerald introduces you to the team in a conference room with a projector that takes 4 minutes to connect. There are 7 people. 3 of them have been here longer than a decade. One of them, a woman named Diane, has a framed photo of herself with the CEO from a holiday party 12 years ago. She mentions it on your 2nd day and your 5th day and your 19th day. You learn the system. You are good at learning systems. Within 6 weeks, you understand the workflow better than people who have been doing it for 2 years, which earns you mild resentment from 2 of them and genuine respect from Gerald. Gerald is not the type to say he's impressed. He shows it giving you the harder versions of things. You understand this and you don't resent it. Your student loans cost you $340 a month. You put $200 a month into a savings account and $200 into a 401k because the company matches 4% and you read somewhere that leaving the match on the table is the only true financial mistake. This is the first correct financial decision of your adult life. You make it automatically, on a Sunday night, with a beer open on the desk beside you, before you know enough to understand why it matters. The job is fine. The job is genuinely fine. You are not suffering. You are not thriving. You are doing a real thing in the world that pays you and does not require you to compromise anything fundamental. You learn to value this. Most people spend a long time learning to value this. At the end of year 1, you have $4,200 in savings. You have $2,600 in the 401k. You have not thought about the other offer in 3 weeks, which is a record. Path B, the risky one. Age 24, your first day, the founder, his name is Owen. He is 28 years old. He has the energy of someone who has not yet learned that most things don't work out. Gives you a tour of the office in 11 minutes because that is how long the tour takes. There are 2 rooms. One has the engineers. One has everyone else, which is 4 people including you. Your title is Growth Associate. This means you do whatever is needed. In the first month, you write copy, rebuild a spreadsheet, sit in on a sales call you were not supposed to be on and answer a question correctly, and help move 3 pieces of furniture. The salary is $44,000. You feel at various points in that first month excited, terrified, confused, and mildly certain you've made a catastrophic error. The product is a B2B software tool for mid-market logistics companies. You don't fully understand it on day 1. By day 40, you understand it better than anyone in the building except the 2 engineers who built it. This is the first time in your life that understanding something completely feels like an asset you own. The student loans cost you $340 a month. You put nothing in savings. You tell yourself you'll start next quarter. The math doesn't work right now, and you know it, and you don't look at it directly. The startup runs out of its first funding round in month 9. Owen tells everyone in the larger of the 2 rooms on a Thursday afternoon. His voice is steady. You watch his hands. They are steady too. He says he has 30 days to close a bridge round, or they wind down. You go home that night and look at 2 job postings on your phone and then close the app. You don't send applications. You're not sure why. Something about leaving feels wrong in a way you can't explain yet. Owen closes the bridge. It takes 22 days. During those 22 days, you learn more about what resilience actually means than in the 4 years of school that preceded them. At the end of year 1, you have $600 in savings. You have no retirement account. You have something harder to name, a specific, load-bearing confidence that only comes from watching something almost fail and holding on anyway. Path A, age 25 to 27. You get a raise in year 2, $4,200 before taxes. It arrives as $262 extra per month after withholding, and you redirect $200 of it into the 401k and pocket the rest without upgrading anything. This is the second correct financial decision of your adult life. The first and second correct decisions are the same decision, repeated. That's how it works. Gerald is promoted. His replacement is a woman named Sylvia who is 31 and efficient and slightly difficult to read. She gives you 2 additional reports to manage in your first month under her. This is her way of testing you. You do not miss Gerald until you realize you never told him what working for him was worth to you, and by then he is 2 floors up, and the window of it has closed. You learn something in year 3 that nobody tells you before you start working. The slowness of institutions is not stupidity. It is the weight of decisions made by 100 people over 10 years, each one reasonable at the time. Once you understand this, navigating the institution becomes a different skill. You get better at it. Your net worth crosses $30,000, mostly in the 401k. You don't celebrate. The number feels true rather than exciting. You start a relationship with a woman named Cora who works in a different building and has a specific way of being present in a room that you have never found in anyone before. She makes $64,000. She is the first person you have ever dated who does not find it strange to talk about money. You talk about money. It changes something structural in how you think about the future. At 27, your net worth is $61,000. You have 17 days of PTO you haven't used. Gerald stopped by your desk last week to say something about the Hendricks account, and you found yourself genuinely glad to see him. You noted this. You think it might be what people mean when they talk about a good life. The browser tab is still open. You don't notice it as much anymore. Path B, age 25 to 27. The startup finds product market fit in month 14. You know before anyone announces it because the support inbox changes. The questions go from how does this work to can you add this feature? That is the sound of people who have decided to stay. You hear it on a Wednesday morning and you sit very still for a moment. Owen hires 3 people in a single month. The office moves to a new space with an actual reception area and a coffee machine that is not a Mr. Coffee from 2009. These are small things. They feel enormous. You have been in the room long enough to know what they mean. You are promoted to head of growth at 26. The title is larger than the salary, $67,000. But the equity is repriced. Your new grant is larger. You still don't know if it's worth anything. You make a habit of not thinking about it. The equity is a possibility, not a plan. The salary is the plan. You are doing things at 26 that people with your job title at large companies don't do until they're 34. You are running campaigns, managing a team of 2, presenting numbers to a board observer every quarter. The board observer's name is Marcus. He is a partner at a venture firm managing $800 million. He shakes your hand after your 3rd presentation and says good instincts in a tone that is not a compliment so much as an observation. You file this away. You open a Roth IRA. Late but open. $200 a month. The balance looks embarrassing. You set the automatic transfer and close the app. You know what the number becomes. You've done the math. You start dating a man named James who builds furniture on weekends and is completely indifferent to status in a way you find first baffling and then necessary. He does not understand your job. He understands you. At 27, you realize these are different things, and one of them is more important. Your net worth is $19,400. Your salary is growing. The equity is a question mark that is beginning to feel like it might resolve into something. The gap at age 27, Path A net worth, $61,000. Stable employment, clear trajectory, relationship with roots, a 401k that compounds without you watching it, Path B net worth $19,400. Accelerating income. Nonlinear trajectory. A skill set that is 3 years older than it should be. An equity stake that is either worth nothing or the beginning of something that doesn't fit on a standard chart. The distance between them is $41,600. That number tells you almost nothing about what either life actually is. Path A age 28 to 32, Sylvia is promoted. Her replacement is a man named Davis, who is 35 and smart and has a habit of taking credit in meeting rooms for work that happened before he arrived. You watch this happen 4 times in the first 3 months. You do not say anything. You learn to document differently. You and Cora get engaged at 29. The ring costs $4,800. You pay cash. The savings account has been building for 5 years in a way that is quiet and structural and doesn't ask for your attention. Cora's student loans are paid off. You go out to dinner on the night the last payment clears and order the good bottle of wine, and there is something in her face that you know you will remember for the rest of your life. You buy a house at 30. 3 bedrooms, a yard with a fence, a kitchen that needs updating, and a roof that a contractor named Leo says is good for another 9 years. You put $52,000 down. The mortgage is $1,640 a month. Cora's income comes into the household, and the math is fine, more than fine. You paint the 2nd bedroom on a weekend in October. The color is called Quiet Harbor. At 31, you're promoted to senior analyst. The title on your email signature changes. The salary moves to $91,000. You increase the 401k contribution to 12%. You do this on a Tuesday morning in 8 minutes and don't think about it again until the quarterly statement arrives. Your life is working. This is not a small thing. You know people whose lives are not working, and you understand now, in the way that you can only understand it from the inside, that a life that works is its own kind of achievement. Davis takes credit for your Q3 report in a meeting with the VP. You let it go. The VP already knows. At 32 net worth, $189,000. Home equity plus retirement accounts plus cash. The number is real. The number grows while you sleep slowly, quietly, reliably, the way good things grow. Path B. Age 28 to 32, the startup is acquired at month 31. A logistics software company out of Atlanta. $110 million all-cash deal. You are in Owen's office when he takes the call that confirms it. He hangs up and says nothing for approximately 9 seconds. You have known him for 4 years. You have watched him almost lose everything once and rebuild it and almost lose it again. You do not say congratulations immediately. You let the 9 seconds be what they are. Your equity stake is 0.31%. The net proceeds to you, after taxes and the standard provisions and a lawyer you hired for $2,800 who earns her fee 3 times over, is $187,000. You are 29 years old. You have $187,000 and no job. You take 2 weeks to do nothing purposeful. James takes a week off. You go to a cabin in the mountains where the cell signal is thin enough to be an excuse. On the 3rd night, you sit outside after dark and think about what you want to build next, and the fact that you have a clear answer is the clearest signal you have ever received about who you've become. You go back to Marcus. Not as a founder. As someone who wants to learn the other side of the table. He introduces you to a firm. You take a role as an operator in residence, $85,000. You take it without negotiating. The learning is the salary. At 30, your Roth IRA has been running for 4 years. You max it for the first time, $7,000. You open a taxable brokerage. You put $60,000 of the acquisition proceeds into a total market index fund. The rest goes into a cash reserve and the beginning of your next idea. You are building something new at 31. A SaaS tool for the same logistics market you spent 5 years learning from the inside. You know the buyers. You know the pain. You know what the product has to feel like to get past a procurement committee at a mid-market company. You raise a $1.2 million seed round in 6 weeks. 2 of the investors are people you met through Marcus. One of them is Marcus. At 32, your net worth on paper is $340,000. Your salary from the new company, which you are paying yourself, is $72,000. The equity is large and entirely illiquid, and you have learned not to count illiquid things until they're liquid. You run the company instead. Path A age 33 to 40. Cora has a daughter at 33. Her name is Nell. She is born on a Wednesday morning. You are in the room. You have been in many rooms in your life. Conference rooms, hospital rooms. Rooms with projectors that take 4 minutes to connect, and this is the room that makes all the others make sense. You take 3 weeks of paternity leave. Your company offers 2. You take 3. Davis does not say anything directly. You do not give him the chance to. The house appreciates. You refinance at 35 when the rate environment shifts. The process takes 6 weeks and costs $4,100 in closing costs and saves you $230 a month. You break even on the cost in 18 months and don't think about it again. Your father has a health scare at 36. It resolves but slowly. You drive home 4 times in 8 months. Each time you take 4 days, and you do not worry about the time you're losing at work because you have enough capital, financial and political, to absorb it without consequence. This is a specific kind of freedom that doesn't have a number attached to it. You will think about it for the rest of your life. You are promoted to Director of Analytics at 37. The salary is $118,000. You have been in this company for 13 years. You know where the bodies are buried. You know which VP is carrying which project on their back through sheer will. You know which accounts are held together by relationships rather than product quality. This knowledge is not glamorous. It is a form of power that compounds quietly. The way the 401k compounds quietly, the way the house complicates quietly, the way a life that is working compounds quietly over time. Nell starts school at 37. You and Cora sit in small chairs at an orientation night, and a teacher named Miss Petrova explains the homework policy, and you look at Cora across the room, and something passes between you that is not a thought so much as a recognition. At 40. Net worth, $612,000. Home equity, $243,000. 401k and Roth IRA, $287,000. Taxable brokerage, $82,000. The house is not going anywhere. The retirement accounts are not going. You have a job that works, and a family that works, and a life that is more than the sum of those 2 things. The browser tab is closed. You closed it sometime between the cabin and Nell's first word. You didn't notice when. That's how you know it's really closed. Path B, age 33 to 40. The second company grows faster than the first. The market is known. The buyer is known. The product has been sharper from day one because you've built it before differently, with someone else's money. You know what you got wrong. You build around the mistakes. Serials A closes at 33, $6.8 million. You bring on a VP of sales named Adrian, who spent a decade at one of the legacy players in the market and knows every procurement officer by name. She is the single best hire you will ever make. You know this in her 3rd week. James proposes at 33 on a Tuesday night in the kitchen while he is making pasta, and you are reading a term sheet on your laptop. The ring is handmade. He made it. You say yes immediately and then look at the ring and say yes again. You are traveling more. Austin, Chicago, Hamburg, Singapore. The company has a European logistics client that requires your presence quarterly. James comes twice. The 3rd time he stays home and you feel the weight of that for 3 days. And then the weight becomes something you carry differently, not lighter, just differently. Revenue at 34, $4.2 million ARR. You are paying yourself $140,000. You have not paid yourself more because every dollar that stays in the company is a dollar that belongs to the equity, which now belongs to 8 investors and your founding team and the option pool and you. The math has gotten complex. You understand every line of it. At 35, you start to get inbound. Not customer inbound, acquisition inbound. 3 conversations in 8 months. You take all 3 because taking the call is always worth the information. None of them feel right. 2 are too small. 1 is structured in a way that protects the acquirer and not your team. You say no 3 times. Adrienne leaves at 36. She takes a chief revenue officer role at a Series C company. You knew it was coming. You gave her 6 months to recruit her replacement, and she did, which is what you hired her to do. You have learned to hold people differently than you used to. Not loosely. Differently. At 37, the company has 41 employees. 41 names, 41 spouses or partners or absence of those things, 41 sets of circumstances that arrive in your awareness in ways you did not anticipate when you hired your first person. The weight of this is real. Nobody who has not employed people can understand the specific weight of being the reason someone can pay their rent. You feel it clearly. You don't look away from it. The Series B closes at 38. $22 million. Valuation, $87 million. Your stake has diluted, but the company is worth enough that the dilution is irrelevant. Your equity on paper is approximately $9.4 million. It is not liquid. You do not spend it. You run the company. At 40, net worth $1.4 million liquid, not counting equity. The Roth IRA, the brokerage, the $187,000 from the first exit that has been compounding in index funds for 11 years. The salary you have been paying yourself carefully, never too much. Net worth including equity at last round valuation, $11 million. The second number is real but not available. The first number is real and available. You operate from the first number. James has a studio in the house now. A whole room insulated with good light from the north. He builds furniture that people pay real money for. Not because it keeps the lights on. You keep the lights on. But because it is the thing that is entirely his. You bought him the table saw at 37. He has never once mentioned it. That's how you know it meant something. The Gap at 40, Path A, net worth $612,000. Monthly passive income from investments, growing, one house, one job, one family. One life that is working completely without asterisks. Path B, net worth $1.4 million liquid, $11 million on paper. A company with 41 people depending on a decision you'll make tomorrow. A marriage that has survived 4 time zones and 3 funding rounds and 1 night in Hamburg where you called home. And James didn't pick up, and you sat in a hotel room for 20 minutes before he called back to say he'd been in the studio with his headphones on. A life that is working, in a different key, the distance between them is not a number. Net worth is the wrong unit for what separates these two people. They are not more or less successful. They are different kinds of whole. What the spreadsheet doesn't say. Path A never lost sleep over payroll. Path B has lost sleep over payroll 9 times and counting, and each of those nights taught something that is now built into the way the company is structured. Path B doesn't know what it's like to watch the same project from the beginning to Gerald's replacement to Javis to Sylvia and back again, and to understand slowly the geology of an institution. There is a kind of wisdom in that understanding that no founding experience replicates. Path A has been in Nell's school for every single thing that mattered. Path B missed 2. Only 2, in 7 years. James has the photos of both. You have looked at the photos many times. 2 is not a failing. 2 is also not 0. Path B has made decisions that restructured other people's lives. The acquisition in year 5. The round in year 8 that required a down round that reset the option pool. You did not deliver every piece of news personally. Your general counsel advised against it. You did it anyway. 3 people left. One of them sent you an email 8 months later that you have read 11 times. Path A has given Gerald 2 good references in the years since he moved up. Gerald sent a handwritten note when Nell was born. It's in a box in the closet. You have not thought about it in 3 years. When you think about it, it matters. Neither of them chose wrong. That is the most important sentence in this entire script. They chose differently, which produced different things, which required different versions of the same person to navigate. The rule, the safe choice is not the fearful choice. The risky choice is not the brave one. The safe choice is the one you make from clarity, because you know what you want, because the path is the right path for the life you're actually building. Because stability is not a consolation prize, and a reliable income that grows slowly over time is one of the most powerful financial instruments ever invented. You are not settling if you choose this. You are choosing. The risky choice is not the one you make because you're afraid of the safe one. It's the one you make because you have seen something specific, because the idea won't leave you alone, because the uncertainty is more tolerable than the certainty of the other offer. You are not brave if you choose this. You are following the thing you already know. The browser tab doesn't lie. If it's still open after 3 years, it's not a fantasy. It's information. If it closes on its own, if one day you look up and you can't remember the last time you thought about the other path, that's information too. That's the sound of having chosen correctly. The 5 days are over. Somewhere, right now, someone is sitting at a desk they've had for 11 years. The window faces east. The light in the afternoon is good. Gerald sent a card when the baby was born. The 401k statement came in the mail, and the number on it, which once looked small, has stopped looking small. Somewhere else, right now, someone is in a room with 41 people whose rent they are partially responsible for. The term sheet on the laptop is on page 6. James is in the studio. The company that might become the thing or might not is already undeniably a thing. The first $187. Vauxen has been sitting in an index fund for 11 years and has become something else entirely. Both of them accepted their offer on a Tuesday morning. Both of them are still becoming what that Tuesday made. The 5 days are over. They always end. They always will.